So this journalist emails me asking me if I'm available for an interview about this shark bite in Maine. And I said, sure, but you're probably not going to like what I have to say. Why? Because I'm not going to go down this path of we have to manage the shark population or we need to study sharks to better understand sharks. There is clearly only one viable solution here, and that's to learn to coexist. One fatal shark bite in Maine ever. And we are all looking around like, what do we do? What do we do? Do about what? Do about what? Something happened once, ever. And everybody's talking about, oh my God, we got to do something about the shark population, or we've got to understand these sharks better. You need to learn how to be an earthling better. When the most feared animal, and yes, they may not be the craziest predator ever if you include orcas or anything else that you want to put above them, but universally, nothing is more feared than the white shark. And yet we have the nerve to act like something strange happened when one of them accidentally kills us every blue moon. The opposite should be true. If we're that afraid of that animal, why aren't we being killed by them constantly? And yet here we are looking for a solution when what we basically proclaim to be inevitable finally happens. Is it a shocking new event? Or is it something inevitable from an animal that we have all demonized? Now, when I use the word manage, we all know by now, or at least should know, what that's code for. And that means kill. Kill as we, as our species, sees fit. And how we see fit depends on whoever in our species is in charge and how much they benefit from the bullshit decision, whatever it may be. We have an ocean on the verge of collapse. We have sharks being slaughtered in numbers that we can't even comprehend. And yet we have our NOAA scientists talking about sustainable shark fisheries and keeping shark finning alive, while others are frothing at the mouth at another opportunity to say, hey, we got to study these animals so that we can save people from tragedy. Bullshit. Bullshit. How are you going to solve once ever? How are you going to solve once ever? And this takes me back to Western Australia, 2014. The years prior to the incidents that led to Western Australia deciding to start culling sharks, your numbers were 1, 0, 2, and then after the cull, 0, 1, 0. What battle are we exactly fighting? How do you determine success with numbers like that? This is random chance. This is like playing cards or rolling the dice and claiming that because you got snake eyes twice, it was because of the way you were holding the dice that time. You don't get to claim that a mitigation strategy or the fact that you studied the size and length of an animal under a microscope had anything to do with whether or not there was a bite the next year or not. And let's not lose sight of the fact that the woman was bitten and died before first responders got there. Not eaten, not eaten, not chomped into a billion little pieces like it was a targeted food source, but bitten and then left alone to be retrieved by kayakers. Not a consumption of a targeted prey item. Now, if this was a problem animal, because I briefly saw some shit about people wanting to take out the problem animal. First of all, if it was a problem animal, it would have finished the job, because the problem animal is a rogue shark, which don't exist, by the way, that has decided that it likes human flesh. Jaws. Remember Jaws, the documentary that we all blame the slaughter of sharks for, yet are dumb enough to act like that's actual behavior of sharks? Look, if this most feared animal on the planet was targeting us, it wouldn't bite us once and then just fail to eat its meal. So I Googled shark bite to try and figure out what the circumstances were, and all I can figure out is that the person was swimming. But my God, every news agency on the planet covered it. I mean, it happened in Maine, but it might as well have happened on every beach across the planet, considering who's covering the story. God's gift to news, a shark bite, human tragedy. And of course, half the headlines started with local volunteer, saint of the community. What does that information have to do with the shark bite? I mean, obviously, that is emotional manipulation that makes the shark seem more demonic and as if it did something unspeakable. And again, we go back to, is it unspeakable or is it expected? Because again, it's supposedly this horrific creature that we're all afraid of. So why are we shocked when it finally happens instead of saying, oh yeah, that's what that horrible, scary creature that we're all afraid of does? You know why? Because it almost never happens. And that's what we need to be focusing on. Why does it almost never happen? Clearly, it could do it whenever it wanted to. So maybe our behavior is what we need to be focused on changing, not studying and analyzing that animal. What did we do wrong? And maybe nothing. In some cases, maybe nothing. And maybe shit just happens. That may sound insensitive to someone who just suffered a tragedy, but shark bites aren't the only tragedy that people suffer. Yet it's the one that we rush to jump out there and manage, because as a species, we can go out there and start killing other animals. And it doesn't matter how many animals, how many of the wrong animals, no matter what species of animal, as long as we feel as the superior species that we're doing something, managing the planet, then we feel a little bit better, whether or not there are any positive results from what we did or not. We were in charge. We took charge. We went out and we killed some sharks. Don't know if it was the right shark or the same species. Speaking of, let's say by chance that they managed to kill the shark that bit that woman. The shark made a mistake. You didn't solve anything. Like, how do you correctly punish a mistake? Something that wasn't intentional, wasn't desired. It's not like that shark gets to go back with a message to other sharks saying, hey, don't bite these things because you'll pay the price. The shark wasn't even trying to eat a person. And yet we're here like, you know what? Let's go kill it. I don't know how the hell you're going to possibly identify that shark prior to its mortality. You know, catching them and then cutting them open and seeing what it ate. So you're basically going to kill every shark in the area, any big shark, or who knows what size of shark, because you're just going to go on a fucking killing spree, be honest. And just a quick related side note, imagine how much you're going to mess with the environment with natural behavior of sharks or any other animal in the area in the attempt to go out and catch that shark, just chumming the shit out of the water, hooks and long lines and drum lines or whatever method they decide to use in order to solve this problem. Like, attract more sharks to the area in the effort to catch one shark and find out whether or not it killed that animal. It basically means killing every shark that you attract to the area, not to mention the fact that you attracted more sharks to the area, you fucking idiots. And then maybe you catch the shark that has a tiny little chunk of human inside of it and be like, oh, that was the problem shark. What did you teach the species? What did you teach that shark? That fucking up isn't allowed on planet human? If that shark had bit that woman and then been inclined to finish the job, if that shark in some way had developed a taste for human flesh, which clearly it didn't, otherwise you wouldn't have been pulling a body to shore, how are you teaching an animal a lesson when it made a mistake? We can swim here like clumsy, idiotic animals that don't belong in the ocean. We can act like a seal that needs to be removed from the planet because we're so goddamn uncoordinated in the water. And then when you target us and finally make a mistake, we will punish you with death. Like, all of nature is not allowed to ever screw up. No matter how many times humans screw up, nature is the one who can't ever make a mistake. Otherwise, we got to step in. Let's just be honest. We can't wait to flex our superiority. And the people that get off on fishing and killing things can't wait for these opportunities to step in and say, yeah, we got to manage the population. Or you got these exploitive researchers who are like, yeah, okay, we need to go fishing for these sharks and we need to reel them in and pull them out of the ocean and put tags on them. That's the key to learning how to coexist with these animals, knowing every anatomical feature of these animals or where they go at every moment of the year. Let me tell you what I learned from documenting the 2014 Western Australian shark cull. People are going to go into the ocean, period. Doesn't matter what information you give them, doesn't matter if you close the beaches. Those who have decided that they're going to get in there are going to get in there. So you could close the beaches during a certain time of year. Let's say that we use our knowledge that we've gained from studying sharks and said, hey, they're going to be going through here from this time of year to that time of year, and it's for these reasons that naturally occur. Humans are not going to say, oh, okay, I get it. I'll stay out of the ocean during that time. No. That's vacation time. I've earned my vacation. No, I'm a surfer. I'm going to catch a wave. Maybe I'll act like other animals on the planet that want to survive. Maybe I won't swim alone. Maybe I won't swim at night. Maybe I won't swim next to a seal population. Maybe I won't flop around like a lame animal that needs to be removed from the population by a superior predator because clearly I have some sort of anatomical deficiency. No, it's actually just a human flopping around out there like an idiot, but don't you dare act like a shark and do what you're meant to do. It doesn't matter what we learn about these animals. Our ultimate solution is that the ocean is ours and they've got to go, unless we take a different approach to this. Sharks are not evil. Sharks are not targeting us. If sharks were targeting us, we'd be absolutely effed. I can only imagine how many politicians are saying, okay, this is the beginning. See what happens. We allowed nature to come back. That's what you get. These animals are in plague proportions. These are the consequences that we face when we allow these animals to come back. And when I say plague proportions, we're talking about they're seen occasionally. That's what we consider plague proportions of an animal. But by God, that will not stop a politician from jumping on human tragedy and saying, let me come in and save you by killing the bad shark. That's what protection is supposed to do. We're supposed to be celebrating that these animals are coming back. And even the people in Cape Cod, I hate to call you out because some wonderful people there, but they stand there and they rejoice about Jaws and everything and will simultaneously be like, yeah, okay, well, there's a problem, the shark's great and everything, but, one bite in blah, blah, blah years, or in Maine's case, one bite ever. That's just not acceptable. Love those sharks, but time to start slaughtering them again. They came back. Those goddamn seals, we protected those seals, and the predators came back. Fucking nature. Goddamn nature's actually doing what nature's supposed to do, and we don't like it. Fucking humans. Fuck. Did I mention that I finally published my first book about coexisting with deadly predators? It took 20 years of research, and it's 1 page long. It says, don't be a fucking asshole, you goddamn clueless human being.